Link, Link. Eee.
Alright, so now I am going to show you a project called Djinn, which I worked on for quite a few hundred hours, I would say, in my total racked up. Unfortunately, the logic escaped me on certain things and frustrated me, so I took a break. I have learned how to do some of the things which bothered me so much. Then skip. I made this little opening. So all of the music was created entirely by me, written 100% from scratch using dreams. Again, I also take music composition lessons, so that is certainly, how I understand writing music, as it does not come natural to me. Little opening cutscene here. None of this is finished. All of it would be thoroughly polished before I were to release the game. Ignore my imp floating about. You can hide that in cutscenes, I just always fail to remember. And so basically this child is awoken in the middle of the night to go free a genie from his lamp. It is heavily inspired by Zelda and games like Zelda, Link to the Past primarily. All of the links from the cutscenes broke when I uploaded it online and deleted it from my hard drive, so I'm gonna have to go through one by one. This is Tezo's house. Tezo is actually the main character that you saw wake in the middle of the night from this bed here. Here we go. Well, for some reason Tezo is not in his house, and that is okay. Hold on. I'm actually going to. So, generally the main characters are in there, and you can destroy all these pots here and cut the tree down, and here destroy these stools here. But this is mostly just the opening scene for the game. Then you exit out into Kikilak Village. So the game is a top-down adventure, much like Zelda, Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. So the village is explorable. This cave is actually very dark, and you need to go get a lantern found in another part of the game in order to be able to explore it. really did have a ton of fun making this game. Unfortunately, it was just difficult, the logic to program, and there is already hundreds of pieces of logic running in the background of the game as we speak. I actually based a lot of the characters, not very, very loosely, on my friends on Twitter, just for the fun of it. So I had some names and personalities to jump off with. So it's played top-down, like I said, just like, you know, many action RPGs from back in the Super Nintendo and so on days. So you can see I have designed a lot of the game here. Still a ton of work left to do on it. Regardless. I'll try not to spend too much time in each world and just give you a small snippet of what has been developed so far in this game. This one doesn't actually connect yet. I was thoroughly proud of myself in the music that I wrote, though. You can see in the upper right corner there is a prompt for which items are mapped to which buttons. And that matters now because things like the lantern and the chakram Oppo jewels are dropped by destroying things and enemies. This is actually not, you can't pass it until you can charge up your attack, like that. It's not immediately available. This will increase maximum health upon collecting enough of them. There's also a shield. And the lantern actually allows you to see through fake walls. If such a thing is around or exists. Let's see, Salji Mountains is ready, just not connected yet. Same premise. You can see I even got the health up and running for really everything. There was just a couple things that I failed to figure out. And so I just took a break and went to other projects, and now I've figured some of those things out and will come back and correct them. Like where he just came out of the temple instead of the beginning of the stage as he should have. I really did have a ton of fun making this, as I do with all of my projects in Dreams. And I will definitely return to this and design something else, or finish it. Really, I'm just gonna go to everything we find. This is actually the first temple in the game. There are no enemies or puzzles or dangers of any kind. The wind here that you see will actually blow you off the edge when the game is finished, and you'll need to use the shield, the dragon shield that you see here, in order to get through the wind. It'll block the wind. All of this is really rather simple logic breaking down in the background as you play, and it's stuff that's not as difficult to figure out as you'd assume it is, because you look at it and you look at somebody's, let's say, character model with hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of logic, and it is rather daunting, but I assure you that was built one piece at a time, just like everyone else's. This is the boss room here. The boss is actually not implanted. As I said, there's no enemies or dangers in the level yet. I believe the same goes for this area. And of course, you'll have to get the appropriate equipment to be able to swim in the lake that Tezo's about to come upon. Little warning for players there. Ugh, it pains me to come back and play this and see how much work I really did put into it, and that I, at any point, was frustrated enough to take a break at all. Can't get through here can't get through here anyway. Can't get through here without the lantern. Like I said, you collect that later in the game. For debug purposes, I obviously have everything unlocked for myself, so that I can playtest everything. Like I said in my Tomb Raider Remake video, playtesting is hugely important for releasing a title on Dreams, as it is with anything, really. If you can get someone who enjoys playing your games to do it for you, or at least help you along, I would highly suggest it, simply because it does burn you out to play your own levels to excess. Here are some basic enemies for Djinn, the game. You can see all of the logic here. Everything from his feet pitter-patter is hand animated. After the enemy's been struck enough, he actually goes into his shell for a brief moment before he pops back out. That is a Cazzadillo. These are the jewels you collect. This is a Vapor Wraith. They were actually in a level that I just shown, but you couldn't see them. Actually, you can't see them now because they're invisible unless you have your lantern on. But this is a Vapor Wraith here. I could just move this logic so you can see him. Just a basic looking ghost that follows you around and causes damage, and he also lunges forward at you real quickly. You saw a rock tick earlier up on the mountain, Batu Mountain. They basically just have a set of logic. I know, it looks like a lot. It really does look like a lot. They basically have a set of logic that randomly tells it to go up, down, left, or right, and to turn left or right at random, so that his movement is exactly that, unexpected and random. Again, that was not difficult to design. I know it looks that way. It is not, though. I want to say this one does not. Yeah, I had a great song written for this. And unfortunately, I did not properly save it, which is super disappointing. Basically, got to hit that switch with your chakram to get across here and go collect what's at the back of the cistern, the Kikilak cistern. All of these assets built specifically for this game. You could see in Kikilak Village, the first area, that I was actually going to build the game in small squares, small cubes. I didn't like the way that it felt when you played on it. So I actually decided against that later in the game's development. And that's that. So that is Djinn. It's just a small... It's going to be a huge game, but it's only about a half game right now. I will also do better to showcase how I'm building these levels. Here is actually the boss here. He moves back and forth, fills with air, and then blasts it out at random intervals, and it actually causes the main character to get blasted against the wall behind him, which is made of spikes, unless the player blocks the air with his shield. These are musics that I created for Djinn here, both of which I very much love. So yeah, that is Djinn. That is my little top-down adventure RPG that I'm building, and I do intend to continue building as probably on live stream in the future. Hope to see you there. If you like what you're seeing so far, like and subscribe. See you soon.